WNEP proudly presents the premier outdoor show in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, your window to the great outdoors. Tonight on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life.
Ice fishing time is here. We'll take you out on the hard water, and then we'll fry up the catch of the day.
Fire up the auger. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. I'm Don Jacobs, along with Ken Hunter. And, you know, Ken, thank goodness for a couple of things. First of all, thanks goodness for a warm fire these days.
Needed it this past couple of weeks. Whoa.
And thank goodness for the nice weather if you're an ice fisherman to be able to get out and hit the hard water for a while.
I was just talking to Joe Schnedeker a while ago, and he said, "Do you like this cold?" I said, "I love it, Joe." I said, "Us ice fishermen are having a ball." And in fact, we did. We just got out to Lake Jean, me and a couple of friends and myself, and we put some of this strange-looking equipment to work. Let's see how it works. We set up in the middle and then stretch them both ways?
I'd say we ought to go both directions.
Yeah. So we'll set up base in the middle and then kind of go both ways?
Yeah.
We finally have a really good cold spell. Here we are at Lake Jean, Ricketts Glen, Lake Jean. I'm here with my brother Dave. Dave, you have a friend of yours along and a friend of mine?
My buddy Bill Wilhelm, and we've been up about, what, half a dozen times, Bill?
Yeah.
We've done fairly well. You get a nice variety, a lot of pickerel and some perch.
Well, let's get these tip-ups set and let's get some action. I want to start.
Sounds
This
good.
is my first time out this year. I want to get some action. I want to get some.
We hope you get one bigger than the last one we saw on TV. It was about this big.
You see that?
We remember
my
that.
mistake there was, if you guys are smart today and you see one like, cut it off before we get there.
Ken, with this wind, I'm going to try two different kind of tip-ups. I'm going to go with the magnetics.
Let's see what you're going to use.
Well,
Now, see, I don't have any of the magnetics. And, so why are you going to use the magnetics?
well, there's two reasons. First of all, in the wind, these give you no false flags.
Right.
Because once
flag.
well, false flag is when the wind blows and it kicks the flag up and you think you got a fish on, when in reality you don't.
Just the wind. But
All you have is the wind. What happens is you got a magnet right here.
Yeah.
And you have another magnet down at the bottom.
All right.
When you put this plunger in, the flag, there's a locking mechanism at the top of the flag. And we'll lock it right now just to set it. And then what happens when you set your line down in, which I'll get this untangled in a minute, and you set your magnet to the tip right there, the magnet catches, this magnet catches on that magnet.
There's not actually anything gripping other than the magnetic
Just
force.
the two magnetic forces, one here and one inside.
All right.
You set the trigger. When the fish comes along and hits it, it pops.
And that way you don't have that wind blowing them
The
up.
wind can blow all day, and it can't affect that flag. These are polar tip-ups,
Polar, yeah.
right? The difference on these, and I rig these with little bells.
And that's because you're always inside your little shed sleeping, and
Well,
when the bell rings, you know
when
it's time to go
When I'm
out.
sleeping, this wakes me up.
Yeah, okay.
And it also, at night, when you're fishing at night, I also use little glow sticks at night, but if it gets to the glow stick goes out, if the flag goes up, you hear the bell and you go to your flag.
Brother Dave always did like these mechanical things.
I'm into gadgets.
Yeah, gadget man here.
Now, the way this works is you have your tip up here. It sits on the guide.
Go slow.
Okay.
Okay.
And once again, once you get the depth of your hole, you get it set, you figure out the depth, which we can do when we get out in the water. And when a fish hits on this one, what will happen is that flag turns and it pops.
Rotates and releases it.
Mm-hmm. It's
That's
running.
turning.
You see it running?
You know your fish is running.
If it stops, then
While
you know
you're on
the
the
fish
way
has
to the
stopped.
hole, yeah.
Exactly.
After explaining how the different tip-ups work, Dave started drilling holes in the ice and prepared to sound the hole. Sounding the hole is done to determine the depth of water you are fishing in.
All right, we're looking at about 6 inches, Ken. I'm expecting to get about probably 13, 14 feet here.
Dave baits his treble hooks with a fathead minnow by placing one of the hooks through the dorsal fin.
Set it in the hole. I watch for which direction the wind is coming so I don't get any extra wind on it. And you set it as lightly, which we can set very lightly right now because there's no wind. If the wind gets heavier, I'll have to move it in tight. Right now, I'm going to set it out here as far as I can. As soon as something hits that, it's going to flip off of there. This will start to spin, and we'll come over and see if we have a fish.
Not long after all the tip-ups were set, one of mine was the first to go off. Okay, definite hit. Oh boy, he's running. Oh, he's running hard. Oh yeah. We got him. We got him. It's a decent fish. Oh, decent. Holy cow. Holy cow, is that decent. Now there's a perch right there. Look at the belly on that thing. Look at that fish. Now that's a nice perch. That's one of the fattest perches I've seen there. That's a dandy. I am pleased with that. Does this make up for that little perch you people have been seeing me catch every week? Look at that. And if I hold it close to the camera, photo tip number 2, hold your fish really close to the camera and it makes it look really enormous. There you go, that's a dandy.
Well, as you can see, we started getting into some fish. Now, I was using a slightly different tip up here. I like these old wooden style jigs.
That's the kind that I use too, yeah.
I really like them. Now, my brother, he likes the new stuff. We were just talking, maybe he ought to put a rocket on that thing too, so whenever it goes off, it fires in the air.
You call them the gizmo and the gas.
Yeah, that's brother.
Did you do any jigging?
A little bit, and we actually picked up a few on jigs as well.
So right now they're out there biting on minnows and jigs, and basically it's be in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, really, you got to move around. You never know. It's different every time you go out. So.
Now you caught some fish, and we've got more of that coming.
More coming right back, yeah.
Oh. And welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. What you're looking at are two, you call them makeshift ice fishing jigging poles, but I'll tell you what I used to do. I used to go out and buy broken fishing rods, the tips, all right, find them even at yard sales, people would give them to me, and I'd drill a hole in the back end of a broomstick and we'd make our own rods. And then
those are nice. You even tapered that down.
Yeah, I was into it for a while, and I've got a bunch of them, and we hand them out and give them away if anybody needs them. I'll tell you what we also do then. We just put 2 little screws here with rubber and tie the line, and it's your basic, you could put a reel on this, but it's your basic rod and reel. You don't have to get fancy with ice fishing.
You can put junk together really and go out and have a good time.
On the ice, because you're right over the hole.
Absolutely.
You need, actually what you could do is even with your hand line if you want to. You just got to bite.
I just got a hit right there, so not bad. Now you can get fancy things like this if you want to.
How'd the rest of your day go out
Actually,
there?
we had a very good day. Let's go back up to Lake Gene and see what kind of a day we did have.
Okay, he's on. It's a good fish, whatever it is. It is a good fish. It's big. It's probably a pickerel. It's a big one. Pickerel? It's a good fish. I don't know what yet, but it's... Oh, it's a big pickerel. Whoa. It's a big pickerel. He's taking line, boy. This is a big pickerel here for up here, you know? I mean, normally we don't get them this big. This is a good size.
You get a 20-inch up here. That's a nice
size. Good size pickerel.
Yep, that's
Look
a nice
at that.
Nice pickerel.
That's a big pickerel, Bill. Look at that. That's a nice chain pickerel.
Yep.
After catching our first nice perch, all we could seem to muster up were some chain pickerel.
Oh, that's a perch. That's a hit. Yep, big gulp. We don't know where it is yet. Feels like a pickerel, and it is. Another pickerel, not bad. Not bad, Ken pickerel. And there he goes.
Bill was next to hook into one, this time with a jigging rod.
Yeah, pickerel. Let me get his nose up here. No, that's not bad pickerel. It's not unusual to catch them this size up here. And he has it hooked very nicely where I can get it. They're pretty fish and they give you a good fight, but we prefer to eat the perch. So we put the pickerel back in.
Here's a hit. Here's a hit. We got him. We got him. He's on there. Feels like a decent one, maybe. Decent fish. Decent fish. Oh yeah, nice bluegill. Nice bluegill. Yeah, look at that. I don't get a lot of bluegills up here, but he's a filetable fish. Nice bluegill. He goes in the frying pan.
Dave alerted us to one of his tip-ups. This could be the one we've been waiting for all day.
You on?
Yep.
I think it's bouncing around. Get some snow out of that hole. Looks like a perch.
You might have been off. No, he's on.
A
little perch.
Hey. Hold it close to the lens, David. Really, get it really. Hold it.
Well, you
right
got to
up.
do a comparison against the minnow.
You stand far back. So
Yeah, now we
hold
stretch
that.
it. There we go.
There's a 14-incher. Right
At least. That's got to be at least a 14-incher. Or a 4-incher. Now, what do you think, Bill? That's probably, what, 2-3 times bigger than that one Ken had?
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
It's not exaggerating.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
twice as big, but
There you go. That's what it was.
All right.
Well, one of the nice things about ice fishing isn't just going out and catching fish. I mean, that's fun too. But we also have a good time socializing, and we're going to eat some of these fish that we caught today right here in the ice, Bill. And that's always
Sounds
a nice
good.
thing. And
Sounds
you're gonna be the filleting expert. I know you do a lot of filleting, so why don't you tell us how this is done?
the meatiest part is in the top half of the perch. So as we make our first cut, we're going to stay as far forward as we can and just go in past the gill cover there and cut down to the backbone. Then we're going to turn the knife and come back through right along the edge of the backbone and get down here toward the tail and flip this fillet over. Now we'll take the skin off by running right along the edge there.
After filleting one side of the perch, Bill flips the fish over and does the same thing to the other side. So we filleted some of those fish up, just got them, rolled them in some eggs and cracker meal here, and placed them in the frying pan. And I've got some potatoes now. These are prepared ahead of time, so you don't have to work a whole lot when you get up here. I use some of my secret spices as ingredients that we don't want Jake to know about, so I won't tell you what they are. One of them's garlic powder, Jake, but that's all I'm telling you. Got that all ready before we got up here, and all I had to do was throw it in the skillet, and boy, we've got the home fries ready, we've got the perch ready, and this is what really makes it a lot of fun. So I'm going to dish up the first one. Of course, the table's set right here. Everything's ready to go. Didn't light the candle. I don't think we're going to need it today, but let's dish up some food, enjoy some good eating. And you know, the thing about it is, while we're doing this, the flags are still flying out there. We're still getting a lot of good hits. So we're going to eat and keep catching fish here. Here's the first serving coming up for somebody. There, Dave, that's yours. Okay,
That
Bill.
looks good, Ken. That looks good enough to eat.
I want to thank my brother Dave and Bill Wilhelm for joining me that day on the ice, Jake. We had a good time. We caught a pretty good number of fish. We cooked them and ate them. Yeah, had a great time. And clearly, my brother's fish was about a quarter of an inch smaller than the one that I had last year. So clearly that was the case.
I do have to tell you, though, from my experience, bologna tastes like lobster when it's out there. I mean, you know, when you're out in that fresh air, but then when you have those fresh fillets, it just doesn't get any better.
It seems to
than that.
taste better when it's really cold and the snow is blowing.
Absolutely.
Even my cooking was good that day.
Yeah, I saw Bill and everybody else had their hands in it too, I know that. A couple of safety tips you may want to, especially if the ice is slippery, use ice cleats. You could buy them in any of the stores. They're a gripping kind of tool that will go on the bottom of your feet, just so you don't slip and slide and get hurt. What do you use as far as your elevation in ice? 4 inches, 6 inches?
You know, I will go on a good hard 4 inches, but I really would prefer to see 6, 7, 8 inches. I feel a lot more comfortable. But theoretically, 4 good hard clear inches is safe ice. A little more doesn't hurt.
And you should stay away from streams and inlets,
Yes.
too. That's probably where it's the thinnest.
Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. You know, Jake, we've been getting a lot of photographs in, and I'm enjoying looking at those photographs. People are sending me photographs at home. Big bucks. I mean, I've seen some of the nicest racks I've ever seen on these photos.
And it's hard to decide which ones get into people and places and which ones don't, so we're trying to get everybody in there. And in fact, when this is up, it means that the mailbox is filled. It is. Let's take a look at some of those pictures that we've decided to show today on Pennsylvania People and Places.
We opened this week's Big Buck edition of Pennsylvania People and Places with Evan Miller of Nescopec and the 8-pointer that he shot on the first day of the rifle season. Evan took this buck with a 30-06 while hunting with his son Robert in Columbia County. This buck sported a 19-inch spread and is the largest rack he has ever gotten in, get this, 41 years of hunting. Nice going. In our next photo, we see Martin Kramis of Pine Grove and the 8-pointer that he shot on the last Thursday of the archery season while hunting in Pine Grove Township. Martin tells us that it was a very windy day and he never expected to see this deer walk by. Lucky for him, it did, and he made a good shot. Martin's deer field dressed at 175 pounds and had a 16-inch spread. Gary Keppel of Shenandoah shot this 11-pointer on the last day of the rifle season while hunting in Brandonville area. Gary's deer sported a 17-inch spread, which is the biggest deer he has ever killed in 26 years of hunting. Congratulations, Gary. Take a look at this monster buck. Pete Milkovitz of Walnutport is seen here with the 8-pointer that he harvested in the archery season while hunting in Northampton County. Pete used a grunt tube to call in this beauty and shot him at 25 yards. In the end, this deer's spread measured 20 inches wide, 16 inches high, and the deer, well, that field dressed out at 201 pounds. In our final photo for this evening, we see 15-year-old Gregory Crum of Drums and the 8-pointer that he shot on the opening day of the rifle season just outside of Freeland. Gregory shot a doe in the past, but this was his first buck, which his grandfather Paul Crum is going to have mounted for him. Gregory is already looking forward to the next season and maybe getting even a bigger buck. We hope that happens. Congratulations to all of our successful hunters, and with this we'll put an end to this week's edition of Pennsylvania People and Places.
So here's what we're going to be giving away today. We've got the patch that I've designed and the matching pin and 4 tickets. I'll be there at the expo. Come on down and see us. And Jake, let's see who the lucky winner is.
Okay, and that's the Early Bird Sports Expo.
Early Bird Sports Expo at Bloomsburg. Sure
I'm
enough.
also going to be taking part in that Coltmont Gobblers
You'll be there
turkey
as well,
contest.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we have, looks like
Doris Connors.
Doris Connors from Riverside,
Okay,
Pennsylvania.
congratulations. Our next What's Doing on the calendar right now is the Harrisburg show, the big one over there in Harrisburg.
We have 4 tickets for that as well.
Yes, we do, and we'll be giving that one away right now.
And the lucky winner for these tickets is John Brown from Milton, Pennsylvania.
Okay, the Harrisburg show takes place from the 7th to the 15th down in Harrisburg. For everybody here from Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, we're out of time. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.
So long.
Far back, yeah, there. 14 inches at least. That's got to be at least.
Pennsylvania Outdoor Life is a local presentation of WNEP TV. We're proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania.